What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We've got a highly debated topic in today's video. Don't even get me started. As a crested gecko breeder myself, I feel that structure is very important, and a lot of people try to play it off like certain geckos have great structure when they don't. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about structure of crested geckos. It's kind of a lot to wrap your head around, but after I tell you, you're going to be an expert and you'll be able to tell good structure from bad structure. None of these bigger breeders or anybody will be able to trick you into saying, oh, this is good structure, when for instance, the crest is ankled up, but we'll get into all that in a minute. That way you guys can tell all these crested gecko breeders that are trying to sell you almond heads, that ain't good structure, brother. That is not good structure. My biggest pet peeve. These people are trying to sell little almond heads that have no crest and no head shape as good structure. Just because it has a big old crest does not mean it has good structure. It means it has a big crest. Don't be buying almond heads unless you saw them as a pet, but I would look that breeder in the eye and tell them, hey, get that almond head boy out of my face. After this video, you're going to be a professional. You'll be able to identify good structure and not good structure. So, oh, Ted's out there exploring. Come on, Ted. Okay, one more pee. Dogs. Come on, Ted. Hey, Ted. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so before we get started, I want to explain a few body parts on the crested gecko. So the head is literally just right here. This is the head. And the crest is the spiky part along the head. Okay? Just to specify, all those little spikes are the crest. Not the head, but the crest. People will try to scam you or tell you, oh, it has great head structure, when it just has a really big crest. Now that we got head versus crest out of the way, let's talk about the crest, since Mercury has a huge crest. He has a bunch, I mean, you guys can see it. It's evident. Anytime I do a different angle or anything like that, you guys can see how evident his head and crest both are. Now, another thing you notice is when I show him sideways, you see his head is angled down. When you look at him from the front, his head is angled down. That is what you want, people. You want your crested gecko's head to be angled down, kind of floppy. Like, see how when you look at his head, it kind of goes down and it's kind of floppy looking and it's big? That's what you want. That is almost perfect structure right there. Now, another thing to do with structure on top of head shape, head size, crest, you want their body to be nice and big. Now, personally, I would prefer if Mercury put on a few grams. I think this is a little bit small. I like my geckos a little bit thicker, a little bit more chunky, personally, but he's not bad structurally in any means. I mean, I don't know. I'm very anal about structure, and all of my breeders, if you look, pretty much have good structure. I think Chips doesn't have great structure because her head is kind of small, but she will be paired to somebody that has a really nice head. So that way, when they have babies, I'm hoping to get some that have her spots, and hopefully not her structure, but hopefully the male structure that whoever we pair with, and then we can just improve as we breed. Anyway, back on topic. So basically, you want a nice big head. You guys can see how big his head is. I'll show you guys. You know what I'll do? I'll show you guys good example in Mercury, and then I'll pop up a bad example on the screen to make it easier, so I don't have to go over good versus bad 2 different times. So I'll show you guys good versus bad. That way I don't have to go back and show you all the good and then show you all the bad. It might be a little bit easier to see that way. So we'll show you how big and floppy his head is, and then now we'll show you a head that really has just a crest. The head is not big, and then you guys can see the difference. Big head, big crest. Another thing, some people, like I said, will show you geckos with crests and heads that are pointed up. That is the opposite way of what you want. This is ideally what you want. Crest going down, head going down. Now I'll show you guys one that is the opposite of what you want, and this is not what you want, especially when breeding. Now this is for breeding purposes only. I'm doing this because I want to reproduce animals, and showing you guys this because I want to reproduce animals that have good structure. I'm not going to breed geckos that don't have good structure, unless it's Chips, because I don't really want that in my lines. I want very good structure in my lines. So you want that nice big head, big and floppy. You don't want a gecko that has this tiny little head and has no crest, because the head structure and head and crest is all bad. You want one like this. Now I'll show you guys Odie, who also has good structure, but instead of his crest being angled down, it's kind of just flat. Same thing with Mercury. Both of their heads are more flat, which they have nice big heads, which a lot of Dalmatians especially don't have. That's my biggest thing. I'm working with Dalmatians and working on structure and then spots. I'm not working on spots and then structure, which is what a lot of people in the community, especially Dalmatian people, do. But I'm not doing that. I think structure is more important and then spots will come, but that's just my opinion. So I'll show you guys a nice big head versus a little head, or an almond head is what I like to call them as a joke. And then as you guys can see, the nice big head is nice and robust, and it's kind of like a triangle, but like a rounded triangle kinda, whereas the little head does not resemble a triangle whatsoever. Hey, get that almond head boy out of my face. So as far as head shape and head size, you want a nice big head, you want it to kind of be triangular, whereas if you have one that's not really what you're looking for. Now let me show you guys this nice big crest, which is again the little spikies, versus one that doesn't have a crest. And then the overall body of your gecko, you want to be nice and big. You don't want obese geckos, but you do want nice and thick, healthy, robust geckos. You don't want little skinny twigs, because that's not really healthy or robust. If they get sick, they're pretty much screwed. So you want them to be nice and thick. That way if anything happens, they have a little bit of body fat on them. And I just think it's a better representation of the species, whereas some people have them be obese, some of them don't. But I like to have nice, thick, healthy, robust geckos, not obese, but thick and vibrant, I guess is the word. Like I said though, guys, I'm very transparent. I'm not trying to trick anybody. I actually don't want people to be tricked anymore. That's why I'm making this. So like I said, I wish Mercury would put on, as you guys can see, he's not a skinny gecko by any means, but I would like for him to put on a few more grams. But as far as structure goes, this is one of the most perfect examples of structure you can find. Nice, like I said, big floppy head. It's angled down. Nice big crest. Nice big head size. Nice big head shape. This is what you want, people. This is why Mercury is one of the nicest geckos I've seen, on top of like his color pattern just being red with all those red spots. But this is just why he's such a beautiful gecko. It's why he's worth as much as he is, which is a lot of money. And why a lot of the geckos that I got because I want good structure on top of the spots. So I'm very picky with who I bring in to breed, and I hope this video helps a lot of you. Hopefully nobody will be tricked anymore, because I think that it's very easy to get unethical when you're breeding things and trying to sell them. But I am very strict on the ethics of keeping crested geckos, on breeding reptiles in general, and just the ethics of being a good person. Like, some of these people are just ripping people off, and it's stupid. It's like, what is wrong with you? I care more about my animals than I do business. Like, I'd rather not sell any animals and make sure all my geckos are safe than sell them to people that either don't care or are reckless with them, or just don't know what they're doing, I guess. And there's something to be said, I feel like, about people that are just honest and genuine. And I don't claim to know everything. I'm sure I've said things wrong in my videos, and I'm not an expert by any means. I'm relatively new to the hobby, so I'm only a few years deep into this, so I'm sure there's more I can learn. I'm sure I'm gonna always improve. But yeah, this is all the info I know on structure. All right, guys, I hope you guys learned everything you need to know about structure. I feel like I did a relatively good job of explaining it. Not a lot of people talk about it. Not a lot of people really, I feel like, want to talk about it because they have geckos that don't have great structure. I just want to be transparent. I have some that do, I have some that don't, but what I have going forward, all of my geckos pretty much have good structure or are being bred to have good structure. So it is what it is, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you learned something, give me a thumbs up. Help me grow the channel a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys are subscribed to keep getting videos like this and other videos. If you missed some of my last ones, I showed you guys all my reptiles. I also showed you the new chameleon geckos that I just got, which, if you guys don't know what those are, go check out the other video. Thank you guys. Consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up, like I said. Share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.